shows about collections. Guys who collect bikes, save them up, restore them, do everything. The difference we have today is the guy here only collects one model of motorcycle. And the one that he's chosen is XT500s. As you can see behind me here, he's got a garage of about 18 of them here. We've got another shed of about 10 up there, another 5 of it. Every model, every type, every kind of XT, he's got them here. The guy's name is Ken Price, and here he is. Ken, why XT500s?
Because it's the best bike ever made in Japan.
Well, there you go there. Love to hear that. The next thing as well, how long has it taken you to get this whole collection? When did you start?
I bought my first one, which is that TT500 right here. I bought that in June 1977. That bike has actually been rebuilt twice.
That TT, that's one of the very rare ones, that one. That's got the special light and everything on it. How much is something like that worth these days?
I would say that one about 24,000. The value of XTs has actually dropped recently.
But now, all these bikes, you restore them, rebuild them, fix them up yourself, right? Spares, parts?
That's one of the pleasures of the XT500. Yamaha stores supply just about anything that you want at prices that have not kept pace with inflation.
So basically they sell them at the old prices then?
Not quite, but if you compare it to other prices, they're very good.
Yeah, but if you've seen Yamaha head office, all the old guys working there, they still live on the old prices. And amazingly, while we were walking around looking at all the fantastic old bikes there, we came across somebody that we knew. And what I found here is Mark de Vos, 30 years old, 30 years long, one of the old-time guys at Yamaha head office South Africa. Mark, what do you think about all this?
Geez, Gary, this really gladdens me to see all these in such good nick, and most of them are genuine. The genuine article, they look fantastic. That I'm really pleased to see it.
And I see you're wandering around with the spares for it.
This is still one of the original spares, which I believe you can still get from Yamaha these days, so at reasonable prices. There you go.
That's unbelievable.
It's really a wonderful sight to see.
And I understand you've got something to give Kenya from Yamaha?
Yes,
Let's go get on with that.
Yeah, okay. Ken, just a small little token of our appreciation from Yamaha.
It's not small, it's quite a
Get you up to date, you know. This is the very latest. This is this year's racing calendar.
Thank you very much.
Really, and we thank you for all your hard work and appreciate what you've done here, especially for old guys like me.
One of the interesting things we found out about Ken was that while he keeps a large collection of spares for himself to work on all his bikes with, even with some of the new parts that he gets from Yamaha, if there is anything that he can't find, he's actually quite resourceful and ends up making some of the parts for himself. One of the crazy things we found here is this is a fiberglass replica of the original XT500 stump guard. Now, you made this yourself, didn't you?
Yes, I did, but it's not such an uncommon sight. You will actually find quite a few of these around.
I see a lot of these bikes are actually quite modified. Example is this one's got some road bike front rim and double leading fork set up with Acron rims, real vintage stuff.
It is a nice vintage match there. Everything is like it's 30 years old. That is the beauty of the XT. It is so light, it is so compact, you can actually turn it into whatever you want it to be.
And, as always is the case in situations like this, once we had finished looking at the bikes and seeing all the great stuff out there, the old duffers got together and then they started bench racing and talking amongst themselves. And it was then that Ken started coming out with some of the tricks and tips that he had learned from working on these bikes for 35 years.
The exhaust is important, the carburetor is important, but there's a lot of other things you can do as well.
To modify.
In fact, you can get a little bit more power just by switching off the headlight when you ride.
Really?
And it's actually worth 1.6 brake horsepower. Some American magazine went into
Can
it
you believe it?
in detail one year.
That's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Once we had finished looking at all the bikes in the display collection, Ken then took us up to his workshop, where he showed us another 5 or 10 bikes that he uses for everyday use and just generally works on and travels around on. It was there that Mark de Vos challenged him to show us the black art of starting an XT500.
And tell me, you've obviously got the knack by now of starting these things, because I believe there is a knack to it.
No, I don't really think so. I think it's one of the pleasures of the XT is starting it, especially when there's people gathered around saying, let's watch them try and start the bike.
Yeah.
It's one of the pleasures, it's one of the satisfactions of the XT500.
Can you start? Let's say this one. Are you able to start it? Okay, big guy, let's see what you can do.
Yes, okay. triggers to get the piston where you want it. Yeah.
Well done. Well done. I see you got the knack, that's for sure. One kick, there it goes. Fabulous.
The joy of the collection that Ken has here is not only in the fact of all the bikes that he has, but there's also a couple of other idiosyncrasies that he has about himself as well.
Right, I see you've got some fancy artwork on this I can't help but notice it. Crow, what on earth does that stand for?
Well, if you remember a few years ago when we had the gasoline only pub, Kevin the Barman used to have a happy hour there every Friday, but only if you came in your colours.
Correct.
So I didn't have any colours, so I made my own riding cloak. That crow is a collection of randy old wankers.
Brilliant, brilliant.
This bike, by the way, I paid 500 rand for this bike in '91, which is one of the bargains you could pick up.
Those were the days, eh?
Those were the days.
Ow.
This bike right here,
Yeah?
I've got an XL500 79 model, the first one that came out. It did 7,000 kilometers,
Right.
and the motor was destroyed.
That's a good place for it to bury it there. In front of the Yamaha.
So the next time you come and visit me, bring a pick and a spade.
Yeah.
There's a P50 PSA buried here.
Also, yes.
Also the same time, yeah.
Same time. And what's the demise of that one?
I could never actually start the thing, to tell you the honest truth.
Really? Yeah.
As great and fantastic as it had been to spend the day hanging out in a nostalgic time warp like Ken's place is, unfortunately it was soon time for us to pack up and head back to the real world. And there's it! Another one of the fabulous collections that we find all over the country around here. This one, Ken Price and his collection of XT500s. A whole couple of garages full of them. Ones he uses every day, ones he's restored, rare ones, common ones, everything. Ken, thanks a million. And as we say in the classics, thank God for the crazies. I mean, like you, guys like you, we have things like this.
You just described it pretty well.
There we go. Thanks a lot. Until next time, next collection we'll find, we'll let you know. Cheers.